But I will tell you that lots of Australian viewers of the Mark Dolan show don't want to see Harry and
No,
Meghan. The reason
100%.
why it went down well in 2018, Paul, is because the Australian public didn't know Meghan Markle very well. Well, they know her now. And what do they know her to be? A gold-digging grifter.
Prince Harry and Meghan are reportedly gearing up for a trip to Australia. But what was meant to be a calm, picture-perfect visit is already spiraling into straight-up chaos. Instead of a warm welcome, a loud wave of backlash is building. And plenty of Australians are making it very clear they are not excited about this arrival at all. Online petitions are blowing up, stacking thousands of signatures from people demanding that not a single dollar of taxpayer money should go toward this visit.
Netflix has officially cut ties with Meghan Markle's polarizing lifestyle brand as ever. But there's no other way to spin it, is there? She and Harry have been a massive disappointment for Netflix.
The mood is tense, and the pushback is getting louder by the day, turning what should have been a smooth trip into a full-on public mess. What was supposed to be a dream journey is quickly flipping into something way more complicated. The situation is shifting fast, and if things keep going this way, the trip could even be paused before it really begins. But the big question is, why Australia, and why now? The answer seems pretty obvious, and it is not a great look. Their major deals and projects are falling apart one after another. Netflix has reportedly moved on. Meghan's podcast ended suddenly, and even her lifestyle brand, as ever, is struggling to gain traction in a serious way. Because of all this, they had to move fast before their fame started slipping away.
Because Netflix was holding her back and she wants to push forward. Well, what better way to do that than to go to these countries and sort of test run how the business could go if they expand into Australia. I think nothing has been confirmed, but certainly it feels like that's the mood music. So there is that aspect of it where they want to come here and I guess just sort of launch this new phase of their career. But at the same time, it will, of course, invite comparisons to that.
And that is exactly where this Australia trip comes into play. Harry and Meghan are saying it is all about private business and charity work. But a lot of people are not buying that story at all. Many believe this is just a cover and the real mission is to grab attention again and get back into the spotlight. And here is where things get even more interesting. It is not even Harry who is expected to take center stage. It is Meghan. Reports claim she is planning an all-women event, and the details are raising serious eyebrows. Women are expected to pay around £1,400 just for a ticket, all for the chance to enter the venue, speak with Meghan one-on-one, and even get personal advice from her. That leads to a big question people keep asking. What exactly is she offering that comes with such a high price tag? To many, this looks like a carefully planned move to step back into Australia.
Tell me what we could have got, Lizzie.
You can get a gala dinner, 2 nights accommodation, a question and answer session with Meghan, meditation, yoga, and a sound healing experience.
And rebuild relevance in a big way. But here's the twist. It already seems to be falling apart before it even begins. Petitions are stacking up fast, and the growing backlash is making it harder for them to even organize the trip properly. And what makes this situation even more striking is how different things were back in 2018. Right after their marriage, their Australia tour was a huge success. Massive crowds filled the streets of Sydney and Melbourne just to catch a glimpse of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. At that time, they were being praised as the fresh, modern future of the monarchy, and the excitement around them was on a completely different level. But fast forward to now, and the whole vibe around them has completely flipped. The excitement that once followed them everywhere is gone, replaced with doubt and criticism. After stepping away from royal duties and moving to the United States, they shifted their focus to building a full-on celebrity brand. And that move changed everything. They stepped into a series of headline-making moments, controversial interviews, including the one with Oprah, released documentaries, and Harry's memoir that pulled back the curtain, on royal drama in a big way. Each move grabbed attention, but it also chipped away at the public support they once had. And now a lot of that goodwill is simply not there anymore. What they still have, though, are their royal titles, and those titles have become their strongest link to staying in the spotlight. Critics are now looking at this Australia trip and calling it what they believe it really is: a branding move, a commercial play, even a so-called fake royal tour designed to keep their names circulating. Meanwhile, people across Australia are not staying quiet about it. There is growing concern that officials might end up hosting them in some way.
Prayers. The couple's popularity in Australia in 2018 was the catalyst for Harry and Meghan making demands as working members of the royal family. I don't know if you know that. In trying to step out of William and Catherine's shadow, Meghan started comparing herself to Princess Diana and tried to use this trip as leverage with the late Queen,
which could involve taxpayer money. And that is exactly what many citizens are pushing back against right now. The message being sent is loud and clear. If this trip is truly private, then Harry and Meghan should be covering every single cost themselves. No exceptions. No government involvement, no publicly funded security, and absolutely no royal privileges. That is the demand being pushed right now. Australians are rushing to sign petitions because, in their view, you cannot step away from royal life and still expect to enjoy all the perks that come with it. That argument is gaining serious traction, and it is not slowing down anytime soon. This situation has also taken a sharp political turn. Republican voices in Australia are questioning the monarchy itself, asking why Harry and Meghan are even planning this visit and what they are really hoping to gain from it. At the same time, strong supporters of the young monarchy are just as critical, but from a completely different angle. They feel Harry and Meghan turn their backs on the crown and should not be connected to it at all anymore. From that perspective, anything the couple chooses to do now has nothing to do with the royal family. Some critics are even claiming this could be a backdoor attempt to step back into royal relevance. But that idea is being shut down fast. Queen Elizabeth II made it clear before her passing that there was no such thing as a half-in, half-out rule, and that rule still hangs over everything today. Now, instead of rebuilding their image, this move is adding even more tension to an already sensitive situation surrounding the monarchy, and timing is making it all feel even more intense. King Charles III is currently dealing with health challenges while handling the weight of leadership, and Prince William and Catherine are not expected to visit Australia anytime soon.
I've seen what I thought was interesting was the announcement included private events. Like wouldn't we just assume that they would want privacy throughout the excursion? But don't forget, or don't think for 1 second, they won't try to make it look like an official royal engagement. They will want certain...
Because of that gap, some believe Harry and Meghan are trying to seize the moment and dominate headlines across major Commonwealth countries before senior working royals return to the spotlight. And that theory is only adding more fuel to the growing debate. However, with the backlash growing louder and petitions gaining serious momentum, this whole strategy is already starting to look like it might fall apart. The resistance is building fast, and it is not the kind of attention they were hoping for at all. Even with all of that, Harry is still said to believe this trip could impress the king and somehow place him back on the royal map. But critics are not holding back. They are calling that idea unrealistic and very unlikely to happen. It is being seen as wishful thinking more than anything else. Harry and Meghan have also insisted that this trip is completely private, with no official involvement from institutions. But here is where things start to get messy. Serious questions are being raised about security. If police and local authorities are involved in any way, then who is actually paying for all of that? That is where things fall into a gray area. And it is exactly why the petitions are picking up speed. Australians are worried that hidden costs or unexpected expenses could quietly land on the government's shoulders. And if that happens, it would go directly against everything being promised right now. On top of that, even if the trip is labeled as private, it is almost guaranteed to attract massive media attention. Cameras, headlines, global coverage, it is all expected to follow them closely. There is also talk that they might try to recreate the energy of their 2018 visit when huge crowds showed up to welcome them. But if that happens, this so-called private trip could quickly explode into a worldwide spectacle. And that is exactly what critics believe they are aiming for, to boost their fading image.
Photo opportunities where there's an audience clamoring for them so that they can send those pictures to People magazine. But for the most part, I do think that it will be mostly private events and commercial ventures that they're pursuing more so than charity opportunities.
The royal family has stayed completely silent in public, but behind the scenes, insiders say they are watching everything very closely. Every move, every reaction, every headline, it is all being monitored without a single official word being said. At the same time, there is a clear sense that this silence is not sleuthy. It looks like a calculated decision. By stepping back and saying nothing, the royal family is allowing Harry and Meghan to deal with the backlash on their own, without any royal safety net. It sends a strong message without needing to say it out loud. Now, this Australian trip is turning into something much bigger than just a visit. It is shaping up to be a serious test. The outcome could reveal whether Harry and Meghan still have real public support, or if that connection has faded more than expected. It will also show if people are willing to accept them operating with royal-style privileges while no longer being working members of the monarchy. The possible outcomes here are pretty clear, and neither side is guaranteed. On one hand, they could manage to pull off a comeback, grab some positive attention, and slowly rebuild their image in the public eye. But on the other hand, things could go in the complete opposite direction, facing public rejection, harsh media coverage, and serious damage to a brand that is already under pressure. And this situation is not just about Harry and Meghan anymore. It is pointing to something much bigger. There is a clear shift happening in how people view the monarchy, with more questions being asked and less automatic respect being given. The old rules are not holding the same weight they once did. What used to be one of their strongest stages has now turned into their toughest challenge yet. The petitions have already shaped the narrative in a major way, and right now, it looks like they are walking straight into a storm with very little support behind them. And there you have it, the major embarrassment building around their planned trip to Australia. The petitions are gaining serious traction, the backlash is growing louder, and everything is already in motion with no clear way to slow it down. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you think this trip to Australia is still a smart move, or is it heading straight for disaster? Drop your thoughts in the comments and join the conversation. And do not forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay locked in for more updates like this. See you in the next video.